Choose life. Choose a sport. Choose a drop zone. Choose a start time. Choose a fucking big jump plane. Choose turbine engines, speed, unlimited altitude, and endless horizons. Choose height, no low turns, and travel insurance. Choose jump tickets. Choose tiny action cameras. Choose your mates. Choose a rig and matching helmet. Choose swoop shorts and a range of fucking fabrics. Choose 120 vertical speed and wondering who the fuck you are on a Sunday morning. Choose sitting on that couch, watching debriefs, spirit-saving slow-mos, smashing beers after last load. Choose standing on the podium at the end of it all. Choose a win you'll love every time. And the reasons? There are no reasons. Who needs reasons when you fly NZ Aerosports?
Of course, I absolutely love the NZ Aerosports business model. I mean, come on. One glance at an Icarus fuck yeah sticker and you know it lines up perfectly with the fucking pilot mentality. But outside their wonderful use of colorful language and a great company vibe, there's a long list of reasons to say NZ Aerosports, fuck yeah. NZ Aerosports blows me away right out of the gate as a canopy manufacturer with a bold offer. They give you 10 jumps on your brand new nylon to decide if you want to keep it, swap it out, or even return it for a refund. I mean, seriously, how incredible is that? That's like getting halfway through a prom and deciding you prefer the slightly racier date that goes down faster. Seriously, they do that. If you're not madly in love with your new canopy after 10 jumps, they'll let you swap it out for another size or model, or even get your money back. And the range of canopies they've got? Man, they've got a style canopy to fit every jumper and every situation with models you know and trust, like the Sapphire 3, the perfect choice for the beginner or intermediate canopy pilot. The Crossfire 3, when you're ready to kick it up that elliptical notch. The JFX 2, if you're looking to up your new swoop game. The Leia as the workhorse and dirtwater dirt beast, or the Petra. The Petra cranks out crazy power and is nothing short of a record breaker. But hey, it's not always about speed either. Take the Kraken. Built as a low pack volume canopy specifically with wingsuiting in mind, she gives you all the performance you're looking for with the reliability you need that'll have you itching for that next formation, rodeo, or puffy cloud. So the equipment is top of the line kick-ass stuff as you already know, but how about the team? Well, the customer service gang is there to sort you out whenever you need them. Maddie and Beto are always there to help with Jen holding the reins. They're available for you at sales@nzaerosports.com, and they've got a kick-ass live chat tool on the website if you're wanting to hit someone up right away. These are the crew you're going to want to talk to get those custom orders in. With the stock nylon, once you know what you want, they'll have that shit on a FedEx truck as soon as the credit card machine says approved and get you in the air in no time. For your custom orders, you'll be able to get a time frame for building and shipping when you design it, so get to it. And demos. They've got demos in the US available from their partner Rock Sky Market. The whole US demo fleet is there with Sapphire 3, Crossfire 3, Kraken, JFX2, and Leia canopies in a range of sizes. They also offer student and tandem demos in the US. Bottom line, every step of the way, NZ Aerosports is there to get you what you need, and I personally couldn't be happier to be teamed up with them here on Lunatic Fringe. And now, time to get started with Lunatic Fringe Into the Void, brought to you proudly by NZ Aerosports. Fuck yeah.
Coming straight from the cockpit, it's another episode of Lunatic Fringe with the fucking pilot.
Ready, set, go. Time for part 2 with Troy Hartman. I gotta know though, so first off, how the fuck did you manage to set the whole parachute on fire? Because that's still watching the clip, difficult. And then you've got a great photo up of you still under what looks like a flying parachute, but it's just a ball of flames.
Skeleton.
How did you guys pull that off?
Okay, so luckily we brought a pyro, professional Hollywood pyro guy on, and said, how do we do this? What are we gonna have to deal with? And the biggest, first of all, they had to come up with a good mix. I mean, they did a ton of testing. They did a ton of testing on the ground with big fans. They went through multiple canopies, and they found that the burn, when they first started just dunking it in kerosene and then, putting it in the fan and lighting it, it was doing nothing, or it was burning up really fast, or it was just uneven. They tried so many different things. And I know that in the end, they mixed, they had a certain mixture of kerosene and something else that was like gel. It was like a gel that wouldn't evaporate too quickly. Sure. And then they put a bunch of cotton. They put a bunch of cotton baffles to absorb. They just did all this stuff, right? But no, we had no idea how it was going to go. But the one thing they told me was you got to get open and you got to light this thing quick, because in about 10 seconds it'll have evaporated. And that's it. It's not going to happen. So we had one shot at it, and I'm up in the plane. It's just in the bucket, and Joe was going out with me, and it was a bit of a cluster because I jumped, and they had said make sure Joe gets there before, make sure you give Joe time to get there before you do the whole thing. And what had happened was the helicopter almost took Joe out on that particular stunt, because as soon as I jumped, Joe went to go out after me, and the helicopter pilot just freaking flew right underneath the otter.
Oh,
right as Joe was getting ready to go, he saw the helicopter. And so he almost died right there. But he didn't jump. He delayed. So then by the time I'm open, I'm looking around for him, and I'm taking my sweet time because I'm like, well, what's the point? If Joe's not here,
right?
It's just we've blown the whole thing. And so I waited a little bit, and when I did shoot it, I thought it was not going to happen. It was like nothing happened. I shot it, and I was like, well, that's it. We're done. We just wasted all this money. That's not going to happen.
Right.
But then you start seeing the little, the little embers, and you start seeing stuff happening. And of course, I'm just like, oh shit. Like, oh shit, what's going to happen here?
Right.
And then it started going. And of course it's like, whoa, and then, the main concern is this thing going to wrap me up? But I figured as long as it's behind me,
sure.
It's just, I wrote out the little, ball of burnt material, and it was really cool. I mean,
well, it turned out to be an epic stunt, but as I look through the list of things that you've done, a lot of them definitely have Joe's flavor to them, because you flew a lot of solid objects through the sky. I mean, didn't you wrote a grand piano, didn't you? Yeah, the grand piano, that was a good one. And then the one that's really trippy, this is crazy. I went out in a Suzuki Samurai. So let's do, guys had gone out sitting in convertibles or whatever, but they said, let's put Troy in the car, which is fucking ballsy, but they assured me it's going to work just fine. Okay, so check this out. That stunt went really, really wrong. We go up, and we're in the Sky van, and I'm in the Suzuki, and they had all these lines, that were going to just be cut with a hook knife. They're just going to, each guy, I think there were two main pieces of webbing that they were each going to just hit with a hook knife, and the thing was going to go. And there was a drogue that was going to release, and it was on a static line. And now I was going to be under a drogue inside the car. Cool. I figured, that's the main thing. As long as the drogue's out, I'll just sit in the car and should be a nice steady ride. Sure.
Well, you can see it in the video. It was Todd Schubotham, Scott Christensen, and Craig O'Brien was filming, and Joe was filming. As they push me out, and you see the guys snipping the lines, suddenly you see, it was obviously, we went back to watch this, but we see Todd's body language. We see him kind of like roll his shoulders up and grimace. Like, oh shit, like he just did something wrong. You can see it. Well, anyway, so here I go out into the free fall. Yeehaw, I'm in this thing. It's exciting. But then I realize, I'm like, wait a minute, I'm upside down. And now I'm all over. I'm like, okay, there's no drogue. This is not going right at all. And I see the bag, and I see the material, all the stuff is just bouncing off the windshield in front of my face.
All right.
So I'm like, I'm out of here. That's it. I'm done. I shove the door open, and as I'm climbing out, just a big piece of the drogue line, it just goes right around the back of my helmet. Ooh. And I feel it as I'm trying to get out. I just feel it because I'm backing out. I'm going out backwards. I'm kind of pushing myself, and I feel this thing wrap around. And for a moment there, I'm like, oh shit, this is when the whole thing's going to open. And so it's when the whole thing's going to just rip my head off. Yeah. And I cleared that. I got away from the thing, flew away. All was good. Now, here's the thing here's the perspective from the ground. Okay. So you've got the crew on the ground. They see the dot go out of the plane. All right, cool, cool, cool. And they're watching this thing. All right, they're filming. Great, great, great. Now they see Craig O'Brien, they see Joe, and they're like, okay, Troy, now's the time to get out. Now's the time to get out. Okay, get out, get out, get out. And you just hear everybody screaming, get out, Troy, get out. And you see the cameraman start shaking. You see everybody's in panic, and the thing just fucking impacts. And you can feel it. You can feel it in the crew, just on the video. Everybody just goes silent. And you see the co-host. She is just, you see her fucking nipples. They're just, that's the one thing you know is her nipples just get really hard.
I'm going to have to rewatch that.
Yeah. She is, and a lot of people that watch the video are like, oh, nowadays they say, oh, that's all fake. Oh, good acting, blah, blah, blah. No, they thought I was dead.
Sure.
They were convinced I was in that thing and I was dead. And everybody's like watching like, holy shit, it just happened. We just fucking killed Troy. This is it. And you can
on MTV. I
had gotten out so high. No one saw me is the thing. I got out so freaking high that no one even knew. So, dude, that was just a messy. For me, it was actually no big deal. I just got the hell out, and that was the end of it. But from the ground perspective, it was just like, holy shit, man.
That's where you have to laugh and picture you landing as everyone's facing the opposite direction, and you walk up with your canopy over your shoulder going, what's going on, dude? What's going on, gang?
Yeah. I'm like, woohoo, yeah.
So I got a question for both of you guys, because both of you, I thought of this when was that your daughter that walked in the door?
Oh, my son, I think.
Okay. Yeah. So your son walked in the door. So you've got young kids. Both of you guys now are taking care of kids, and you've both done some pretty fucking sketchy shit in your lives. What do you tell the kids when it's time to tell them what daddy used to do? Have you thought about that?
Well, we've shown them a couple videos and they're like, oh, cool. Okay, can we switch the channel?
Sure.
Like every now and then we'll be like, you guys want to see something cool? So yeah, they certainly at this point don't give a shit. They're just like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then they, yeah, and I don't know. One of my kids is going to want to be a pilot. I'm almost certain of that. Just a pilot. I think one of them will at least want to be a pilot. I don't know if any of them will want to do this stuff. I think as they get older, they're going to think it's freaking awesome. Sure. And I'm glad I have, a lot of old video to show them as they get older. what kid isn't going to be kind of stoked on it? I would think.
You would think, yeah, for sure.
I would think. And I don't know. I basically stopped doing that crap as soon as my kids were born.
Sure.
Oh.
Well, that was.
I'm gonna shut that door.
Yeah, that was kind of my my reason for never starting base jumping is I ended up having a daughter. So about the time I would have started doing all the really crazy stuff, I went, oh no, it's not just me anymore. So, 40, how about you?
Yeah,
same really. It's strange how detached they are from what I do. That's it. They know I skydive.
That's exactly it.
They know how much I skydive, and it's as if they don't have a perception of what skydiving is. 9 and 11 years old. Obviously they're old enough that
sure
they know what I do.
Sure.
But at the moment, yeah, it's not even something that's on their radar.
Yeah, exactly. They don't really quite. Yeah, it's exactly it.
So
it's true.
In regard to a lot of your pilot stuff, you did a shitload of stuff, not just jumping, but quite a bit of stuff flying as well. You're quite the accomplished pilot.
Yeah, I actually started asking them. That was the thing, is when it started getting really crazy towards the last season of the show. I said, man, could we do some flying stuff? Do you hear the kids? Let me shut the door.
Yeah, please.
Okay,
that's
I'll always be a pilot, and I'll always be, I'm most comfortable flying, and I'll be doing that. I do that still, 2 or 3 times a week, and I'll do it till I'm an old man. That's something I'm going to continue to do because it's really where my core. It's the thing I wanted to do originally, but with the show, that was one thing I said, hey, could we I'm a pretty good pilot too. Is there anything we could do with me flying a plane? And I had done some really cool stuff in the very beginning, and then we stopped doing that stuff. One of the cool things was flying my plane through the Grand Canyon. I don't know if you ever saw that. That was early on.
Yep.
So flying is I'm far more of a natural pilot than a skydiver. I've been flying for almost 30 years, and skydiving, I only did 5 or 6 solid years of skydiving before I really, I started to take long breaks and really just started doing it a lot less frequently. So I'd say I'm definitely more of a pilot than a skydiver, especially nowadays. But early on in the show, I just wanted to get as many flying stunts in there as I could, because I said, hey, I'm a pilot too. Are there any things I can do, flying? And the one thing I put in there that wasn't part of the plan, it was to fly through the Grand Canyon. And that was like one of my favorite stunts because it was something I wanted to do. And I was really narrow, man. I was like, I want to go through the narrowest section. And it was, straight up Star Wars. It was really cool.
Oh, it had to be. I mean, that
was one of the stunts I had.
Quite the amount of permissions to get something like that done as well. I mean, they're pretty protective over the Grand Canyon.
Well, it's the Navajo Nation. That's where we always do all that stuff. It's actually outside of the park. It's Indian land, and they can do whatever they want. We pay them. Yeah, so they're real good about that.
Gotcha.
But the helicopter pilot wouldn't follow me back there. That's what's so funny. I had done a bunch of practice runs on my own, and it's 1,500 feet deep, and it gets to the point where it's only like 200 feet wide. I mean, it is narrow. It is so narrow, and I had done like 2 or 3 days practicing, knowing the line, getting lower and lower and lower. And when we finally did the real run, it started getting narrower, but it wasn't even anywhere near how narrow it gets towards the end. It was early on. The helicopter pilot said, "Okay, we're good. We're done. We don't need to go any further." I was like, they bailed out. But it was because they were smart. They're like, this guy's an idiot. I mean, it was truly like, if I had lost my engine, it was over.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was really a stupid thing to do.
Well, I mean...
Hey, I was 25.
That's kind of the majority of the list that I look at, though. I mean, a lot of the stuff that you did, there was really not a lot of room for error and not a lot of room for mistakes. I mean... A lot of the stuff.
Yeah, some more than others for sure. Yeah.
Looking
definitely.
back on all of it, what was the sketchiest one, and what was your all-time favorite?
You know what? I'll tell you. All-time favorite has always been the plane to plane. I just love the plane to plane stunt. It's just the dynamics of it are so cool, and it's not stressful. It's just really cool. It's not a super dangerous stunt. It's just, you just got to get it done.
Sure.
You got to just, you have a certain amount of time to get to the plane. It's all just, having the skill to do it. But as far as the one that scared me the most, and then there's the one where I did the closest call, but the one that scared me the most was the base jump through the window. I'll tell you what, I've never been more scared in my life, and I didn't expect it. I thought, okay, it's a base, it was 450 feet or something through candy glass. The dynamics of it are like, no big deal. It's just a base jump. Just forget about the glass.
Right.
Just that was the main thing, was I did some training going through candy glass, and the main thing was forget it's there. Just do a base jump. Forget the glass is there. But the day of, we get there, and it's this abandoned, high-rise building. And you're going up the elevator. You're already nervous. And you're going up this elevator. And then you walk into it's just this gutted, like just cold steel and just crap all over the place. It's dark. It just felt like death was waiting for you there.
Right.
You walk in, and you're like, if I'm going to die, this feels like the place I'm going to die. It was just spooky. And I actually got really sick to my stomach and had to go back down and take a break because I just something, it was like, and a lot of people would say that's the moment where you're being given the sign.
Sure.
This is not right. And, I think we've all gotten those signs. I just push through them because it's like, so many things where we all say, whoa, someone's telling me this ain't right. I think any of us get that feeling. I just say, screw, I got to push through.
Sure.
I can't just, if every sign I saw was, I actually said, no, I'm going to step down. I would have never done anything.
Right.
But that day I was just so scared. And so I finally just got the freaking balls up to just get up and do it. and it went great. But then Todd Shoebotham, they wanted another camera angle with the camera mounted backwards. This was way before GoPros,
Sure.
so you can only take one camera at a time. So Todd, I figured Todd Shoebotham, guys, no problem. We thought no problem. You know, this he's been around base jumping forever. He did exactly what I was worried I was going to do. He went through the glass and went to protect his face. Like he actually let the glass get in his head. He actually didn't think it, he didn't just say, forget about the glass. He actually thought about the glass, kind of put his hands in front of him and just went straight head down the face of the building. And it was so frightening. It scared the shit out of him. He ended up doing this half twisting front flip bailout thing. And you could hear the shaking in his voice when he landed. I mean, it scared the shit out of everybody.
Sure.
And that was what I was most scared was going to happen, is I was going to do that.
Oh, yeah.
But the stunt that was just the fucking, I was just an idiot, just where I did the stupidest thing ever. And most skydivers that saw it said that was stupid that you did that, was landing on the train. Remember that? Landing on the train?
Yep.
I mean, I had an angel on my shoulder that day. I shouldn't be alive. I got lucky. And honestly, that's a perfect example of when the pressure of production makes you do something.
Sure.
Because we had one shot at that. It was a full day of prep. The train was like 20 grand. It was like, we can only do this once. And we had practiced it. And it had to be perfectly timed. They wanted the camera truck to be in a certain spot where the train was, where this was, where that was. And we had done practice jumps to time it. And on the jump, I just happened to get a pilot chute hesitation. Ooh. It just took me down a little bit lower than what we had planned. So now I realize, whoa, the train's not going to be able to make it to the spot before it's time for me to land. And I'm in my brakes. I'm doing everything I can. But I'm like, it's not going to be where they want it. And I pushed it as far as I could, and then I got behind the train. You know, now I was a little bit behind it. I'm like, oh, now I got to catch back up to it. Now I don't even know if I'm going to make it.
Right.
And it was that moment where I think most people probably would have just said no way, all I thought was, we only got one shot at this. It was that whole pressure got in my head, and I went for it. And you see in the video, I cut away and I just fall off the back and I disappear. And that should have been the end of me, but I was just lucky enough that there was some metal thing back there that caught me, and kept me from falling off the back. It was just, I took so much shit for that, and I deserved it. I mean, It was just the stupidest thing.
Well, it's funny because if you listen to your stories from pretty much from start to finish, it's almost like you've just had this fucking guardian angel on your shoulder.
Oh,
through pretty
for
much
sure.
all
Yeah,
of it, which is astounding, but it's also wonderful, especially considering you were doing this shit at a time when the pressure on you must have been insane because, like I said before, this was the heyday for the general public in regard to skydiving. I mean, you had to have known that you were kind of in an extremely unique position then. And so I can't even imagine the amount of pressure you were under to perform, to get it done.
It was that I was stressed out. I was very stressed out toward the end of all of that. We were just doing things just too fast. The bar kept having to go up. And, the pressure was huge. And they were waiting for me to quit. The producers, when I quit. That's how the show ended.
Right.
I finally went to the producers and said, I cannot do this anymore.
Right.
I'm just losing sleep. And they laughed. They said, we thought you were going to do this like 6 months ago. They were basically saying their whole thing was the show will go on until Troy quits or dies, basically.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, that was it. And they were like, everybody was like a collective sigh of relief.
For sure.
They're like, good. We weren't going to tell you to stop. Thank God you said you're done and we're happy we're done.
Well, yeah. I mean, they're not going to turn off the Truman Show. They want that shit to keep going, man. Fucking hell. I mean, both of you guys, especially starting out in sky surfing, which turned out to be a hell of a lot more intense than it ever was portrayed to the general public. I mean, people that didn't do it never realized that how the fear that a lot of camera flyers had anytime they were around a board.
Oh God!
Yeah,
No
I mean,
kidding.
all of that stuff, it turned out to be such an intense time in skydiving that also gave so much to the sport. So it's, again, I think that it's funny because I've got, you on Skype and 40, I've got you sitting here, and these are two pioneers in a part of skydiving that, along with free flying, pushed it into what it's become now. So it cracks me up that outside of the small, sport that we have, nobody remembers a lot of this stuff. It cracks me up.
Yeah, I know. And dude, I'm just stoked that we're still here, bro.
Right?
I tell you what, just so happy to still even be on this planet
Right.
after, with all the friends we've lost and
Right.
just all the, it's just seriously,
Actually, I wanted to ask both you, and I forgot earlier, skysurfing kind of seemed to be under a bit of a curse. It seemed to be the discipline in skydiving that just all the bad shit happened to. Because I can't even count how many people that were intimately involved in skysurfing that aren't with us anymore. And I don't understand that.
Yeah.
I mean, it seemed to take an inordinate amount of jumpers.
Yeah, it's weird because Rob was the only one, if I'm remembering correctly, really is the only one who died doing anything. No, he wasn't even on a board. None of the sky surfers died doing anything on a board, as far as I know.
No.
None of us, right? Rob wasn't on a board. Patrick was doing a wingsuit thing. Vic obviously was totally unrelated.
Yeah.
So it's like, I just think it was that maybe we were all at the forefront. I mean, Vic's thing was totally different. That was weird because you can understand what happened to Patrick and what happened to Rob, but with Vic, it's just like, geez, man, that was.
I've never really
bad.
been able to settle Vic's death in my head because it never made sense to me how that all went down. And for anybody that's listening that doesn't know the whole story, I'll keep it really brief. Vic was killed shooting a video of a birthday four-way that was a bit of a gag jump for one of the jumpers. And he opened up above one of the jumpers, had a spinning malfunction, and actually hit body to body with one of the other jumpers. I just could never wrap my head around why Vic ended up there in the first place, because you're talking about a guy with thousands of jumps that knows exactly what's going on, an extremely accomplished camera flyer at that time. So I never could figure it out. And, of course, the fucked up part about it is we don't get to ask the question. It's just.
I know. I have no idea. Yeah, it's one of those ones I can't explain. I can explain every other one of them when someone asks, what happened to so and so. Oh well, yeah. With Vix, I have no clue. I really don't. Don't understand everything,
Well, and what made Vix even harder was the aftermath and his poor family, and then the long drawn out lawsuit and all of that stuff was just horrible for everyone.
It was.
And everybody thought the same thing, I'm sure, that I did, that if Vic had still been alive, he would have been horrified by everything that happened after the fact. And it was was a really sad time for skydiving, especially for his family, because, unfortunately for the sport, that lawsuit that they had to fail. And it was fought tooth and nail for skydiving, but I felt so bad for the family. I didn't want them to lose the lawsuit, but they had to lose the lawsuit.
Absolutely. Yeah. It could not, that couldn't set any precedent there. No way.
No.
Yeah.
Actually, that makes me want to ask both of you. Speaking of, because we talked about Lodi earlier and now talking about a lawsuit, have you heard the news, what just came down the pike in regard to Lodi?
Yep, I just read it yesterday.
Holy
it's crazy.
Shit.
That's a first.
What do you think this guy...
That's a first.
For those that are listening that don't know what happened, there's been a judgment in a lawsuit against Lodi for the 2016 fatality in regard to a tandem where the instructor was not properly rated. And both the instructor and the student died. The family sued Lodi and was just awarded $40 million. Holy!
I know. I was shocked to read that.
What do you think that does to the sport?
Yeah, if anybody's going to have that lose that lawsuit, it would be Bill Doss. If anybody was going to lose it, but I don't know. I've always wondered. I've always thought if there was the negligence, I thought the only thing that could ever be used in court was any form of negligence. Even though I think the waivers are so airtight these days. I think I haven't really read a waiver in ages,
Sure.
but I would think even something like negligence is like, look, no, you can't sue. Period.
Yep.
No matter what. So it's crazy. I saw that and I said the same thing. I said, holy shit.
Yeah.
I can't believe it happened.
It's a wild precedent. I mean, I know that that waiver's been taken to court, or at least the basic waiver for tandems has been taken to court more than a few times, and it's always lost hands down because people are signing.
Yep.
I was kind of blown away, but in the same thought, I had to think exactly what you did, which is, of course, it was Lodi. You're talking about a place that since the 80s has had a couple of dozen fatalities. So, yeah, it was going to be Lodi.
Yep.
What do you
But it
think?
does set a precedent.
Yeah.
Well, I think because they operated outside of the association.
Do you think that makes a difference, though? Because it's still just a waiver. I don't know.
It is, and I don't know the story behind it. I've not jumped at Lodi. In a way, I'm a little bit sad I haven't jumped at Lodi because it was like that pirate ship floating out at sea, and and it's just like, it would have been nice to have visited, because everyone I've ever met that's jumped there, and I've jumped with the free fly guys that have a fantastic crew, such a cool crew, and they love it.
Yeah.
They absolutely love it, and you can't say anything negative against it. And I wouldn't, because I've never been there. But it was always that place. It's like, and that's the place where there's an accident waiting to happen. There's always those stories about it. So from the outside, it's like, wow, it wasn't looking at the actual incident that there's been awarded the money for. I mean, an unrated tandem instructor. I mean, not that he knew he was unrated, most likely, but I mean that whole error after error after error, and look at the amount of people that lost those ratings afterwards.
Sure.
So they went through the paperwork and realised, but from what I've read, the guy had only lost his examiner's rating because someone's medical wasn't sent in, something along those lines. So that's why his examiner's rating had expired. So he had been an examiner. So it's a strange.
It's definitely a weird one, but unfortunately, Bill's and Lodi's history kind of got him there. I mean, we've all seen the video of the little old lady in the purple jumpsuit that almost fell out of her harness.
Ugh,
oh my
Jesus.
fucking God! The first time I saw that video, I'm like, I'm about to watch a woman die.
Yeah, it's rare. It's rare when I watch skydiving, and you watch all the different videos. It's rare that I will look at it and cringe. I mean, a lot of it you're just like, ugh, yeah, you're a dumbass. You kind of, that was coming. But that one, the whole thing, it's just, you feel for the tandem instructor. She didn't have a clue what was going on, but the tandem instructor, I mean, the amount of tandems I've done, I just think how horrific.
Yeah, well, and she actually went on to try and defend the tandem instructor after the fact. And, of course, every tandem instructor in the country was like, are you fucking kidding me? Yeah. But, again, it was Lodi.
Yeah.
It was the place just had a horrible run of either bad luck or bad choices, one of the two.
Yeah, the caravan going in
all of it.
So
well,
much, huh?
I mean,
I think it's the culture. I mean, that's the whole reason I ended up there doing what I did with the board. It's like, it's just the culture. Once everybody starts thinking a certain way, they start just taking shortcuts and just start smoking pot before they go jump and just whatever, start doing this stuff. So, if you go to a drop zone where you've got, a DZO that's like making it known, you fuck up, you're grounded type thing. And you get that in your head, then people start self-policing and start thinking a little more probably. But I mean, Lodi has served a great purpose for a lot of things.
Yeah, for sure. There's a lot of very pro Lodi people out there, and I'm pro people from Lodi. I'm not pro Lodi. So I know a lot of jumpers that jump Lodi, and I fucking love them, and I think they're amazing skydivers and amazing people, and they jumped Lodi because it was cheap, and they kept an eye out for themselves. I get that. I was just never a fan of the operation itself, but I was always a fan of the jumpers from there. So it's kind of a weird balancing act you got to do when you talk about Lodi. So because Lodi,
it's really Bill Doss. He's a God damn, that guy.
He's a character.
He's just a loose cannon.
Yep, for sure. Well, so
I don't know what. Yeah.
I wanted to ask too. So, being at the forefront and now kind of looking back at it all and seeing the future of skydiving, are you happy with the direction you see skydiving going? Happy with the changes, the innovations, the wind tunnel, the wingsuits, and all that stuff? I mean, are you stoked about it all?
Oh man, the only thing I'm not stoked about is that I'm not more involved with all of it right now. I mean, seriously, I want to get back out and I want to be a part of all the stuff that's going on. I just think it's great. And my kids, I want to get the kids in the wind tunnel. I think it's just fantastic. There's that option.
Sure.
Wingsuiting is, that's my favorite thing probably to do. And I see what I stopped wingsuiting. Again, I really stopped jumping about 7 years ago actively. I still do it, but not. And back then the wingsuits they were pretty neat, but now I see what the wingsuits are like. I'm like, I can't wait to get back out there and try some of this new technology. I'm stoked on it. And, who knows what we're going to see even, going forward.
Sure.
So it's all really, really cool.
Do you see your kids wanting to jump?
I don't know. Yeah, it's such a weird thing. Their personalities, maybe one of them I see kind of having that little bit of a radical, he's a feeler. And there's two, it's interesting. Seems like there's two types of people I often hear about that really get into skydiving and really go far with it. There's the ones who they're big time feelers. They're passionate. They're just, they're the feelers. And then
right.
You got the technicians, I call them. I'm a technician. I'm an engineer at heart. And I got into it as a pilot because I saw this skill set that could be developed. And I saw how, how you could improve upon this discipline. One of my sons, he's such a feeler. He's just gonna, he's the one that jumps off from the top of the slide straight out. It's like, he's the one because he just sees it as like, I want to feel that. I want to know what that feels like. So he might, I can see it.
40, how about
again,
you? You think the kids are going to jump?
The eldest, the lad, I'm not sure. He's real chilled, and the young lady, she's 9.
Okay,
and she just wants to climb trees.
So
yeah, massively.
It might be her sport.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Especially if she hits 12 and I'm still chucking drugs here,
Sure.
then definitely she'd be up for it. I'm not sure if next year when he's 12 he'll be quite as keen. But then again, 12 is a super young age, which I'm not sure.
Isn't that one of the coolest
really
things?
at that age, so.
Isn't that one of the coolest things about skydiving though? Is gender plays very little to do with who is and isn't a skydiver and who wants to be. Because I know so many female skydivers that are so much more gung ho than guys, which is fucking awesome.
Another good reason I got out of skysurfing was because of Tanya.
Right? Are you kidding?
I didn't need her kicking my ass. I was like, okay, now is a good time to retire.
Well, I've told this story before. Myself and Mary Tortomasi were getting into skysurfing, and we were still quite young in it and far from impressive. And we ended up going into the 98 Nationals in the open because there was no one in the intermediate. So we're like, well, fuck it. We'd rather lose to Craig and Tanya than win by ourselves. And Craig and Tanya were obviously just a devastating team, and they were so much better than us that they were giving us tips on what to do on the way up in the plane, which is both amazing and also just horrible at the same time because you're like, there's just they know they're going to destroy us so badly that they're helping us do better.
Right.
So those two, it was such an incredible team. They had such chemistry. I mean, the only chemistry that we only saw from a few teams, and that was you guys that were in the X Games and Craig and Tanya after the fact. And I've seen actually a resurgence in people wanting to jump boards again. So it would almost be nice to see a bit of a renaissance when it comes to skysurfing. I mean, it was a fucking great discipline.
I have seen. I've gotten a lot of emails in the last 2 years from guys wanting to find out how to get a board, and there's no one making them anymore. So they're searching around for old ones, and they're building their own. And Stefania has the Sky on stage. I've been judging that. I think it's really cool. We have a few people now. They can put their performances up, and Yeah, it's coming back a little. It's never going to be huge,
No.
but it's nice to see that there are still people interested in it and willing to put in the work.
Sure.
And they're good. Some of these guys, man, it's like, wow, they're really good. They're learning quick.
Well, and they've got such a great platform to go from, because the stuff that you guys were doing, I mean, it seems like ages ago now to some people. It still seems like yesterday to me that I'm watching guys like you and Rob and Patrick and all these amazing sky surfers just doing shit that blew me away, and still to this day does. I mean, I'll watch some of your old videos of you and Troy flying, and you're just shaking your head going, Jesus, this was long before there were wind tunnels to train in, and long before you were earning it 45 seconds at a time.
Definitely. Yeah.
You know, a
That's
whole
true.
whole different fucking ball game back then.
I'll tell you now, Mike still rocks it.
Yeah.
Mike came back into the sport. Mike Frost was my PlayStation Skysurf partner, and had kids, you know, chilled, got out of the sport for a while, and he's like, 40, I'm coming back, 40, I'm coming back. And this happened for about 8 years, and I'm like, dude, either come back or stop talking about coming back. You know?
Right.
And he rocked up on the drop zone one day, and he's got this, 5-foot board, and I'm like, and what the hell do you think you're going to do with that? And he went, oh, I'm back. And I went, you just can't rock up after 10 years, bro, and just get out on a board. Although you're probably better on a board than you are without one.
Right.
I've got to be fair there. And literally, he did like a few sit fly. Literally, we're running in. He's doing a sit fly jump. He's doing a solo, and he turns around to me, and he's literally broken this really old altimeter, like the strap's just broke, and I'm looking at him and I'm like, you are an idiot.
Yeah.
So I'm fixing his strap as everyone else is getting out of the plane, and he's like, oh, thanks mate, I'm a bit nervous. And he gets out, and within 5 jumps he's back on the board, and he's chucking hen house, he's chucking all the moves.
No
He's
way.
doing
Wow,
honestly.
yeah.
And he's like, you got to come out and film me, you got to come out and take some pictures. And people love him because Mike is just one of the nicest guys in the world, but people love jumping with a guy on a board because they've never seen it live.
Sure.
They've only seen it on the screen. And
I've had the living
to get out and fly with him, especially now free flying has come such a long way compared to what we were doing with the sky surfing back in the day. You know, people are so accomplished now with the free flying, and he goes tracking and they're angle flying with him, and he's flying through the sky. He loves it.
Yeah.
But he can't angle fly, but he can fly with a board at that angle. So it's the guys think he's just like a toy.
I mean, my God.
That's inspiring, man, because I'm scared of the idea of getting back on the board. It's been so long, like I don't even ever consider doing that again.
Well,
so
Mike scares me when he jumps without a board, so it's
I'll tell you what, the idea of having a camera on my head and facing off with a Tom Stanton again is horrifying. There's no fucking way.
We had a Stanton board. Yeah. What was the guy? What was the guy at Paris? Bill. He was a really big camera guy. Bill Beaver. And the guys used to treat him like a space ball. Like the free fly guys, he'd get out and he'd be there belly down, and he was a big lad, and he'd be hanging out, and the fly boys were gripping on him and carving around him, and that's kind of like they treat Mike now.
Jesus. How long did it take you to come up with the hen house surprise? Because that was your signature move, and that was one fucking hell of a move.
That was a beautiful.
I mean, that was the two moves that stand out to me more than anything in sky surfing were Joe's tidy bowl in the hole and the hen house surprise.
Yeah. That hen house surprise is really that's what carried us, that's what changed the game for us. And it's just one of those things. I was out there just trying stuff. And what was so funny is I would spend a week just, trying these new things. And then I would get into some weird spin or something, and I'd be like, whoa, this seems really cool. This is probably awesome. I can't wait to have Vic come out and film it. So then Vic would come out, he'd come up with me, I'd do it, we'd land, I'd walk up to him really excited, yeah, right, what do you think? And he'd be like, well, let's go back and talk about it.
Oh, dude, honestly, our relationship's almost identical, Mike and I.
Yeah.
It's so funny. I listened to you earlier when you were saying about Vic would kind of manage your expectations, and I was so much like that with Mike. It's incredible the role that the camera plays.
He sees it before I do, and he's like, he already knows.
Yeah, he's already shaking his head. Yeah. So you're inside the spin. Yeah.
Over and over, we'd go through that motion, and then I was working on something else, and then suddenly I flipped upside down, and I was holding onto the board, And the thing that got me is when it happened, I was like, whoa, this is the straightest I've ever seen a spot on the ground. I said, this is so pinpoint straight. I said, this is like, whoa, this is weird. I said, this seems really cool. And so when I had Vic come out and film it, at that point I had already thought, well, I might be, let down again. So he comes up, he shoots it, we land. I walk up to him, kind of, trying to play it down, like not act too excited, because I'm like, don't want to, and I could see his face. And I said, so what do you think? He goes, holy fucking shit, dude. He's like, holy shit.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
I think that's what I said the first time I saw it.
It's an incredible move.
Yeah.
How did you name it?
Yeah, where'd the name come from?
Oh, I know the name. Oh, I was, it was around the time I had just come out with it, hadn't given it a name. And honestly, it wasn't even that. I can't even say I was super creative. I was watching some funniest home videos thing. And there was this kid in a hen house, and he was doing something. And suddenly this big old rooster pops its head up like 4-frame, like its head is just filling the frame, and does its whole, you see the kid just freak out, like this reaction. I mean, it was one of those clips that was so funny. I had to watch it over and over. And then they said, that's the hen house surprise, folks.
Oh, boom, there it is.
Hen house surprise. They said hen house surprise because I hadn't brought it out yet.
Right.
And I'm thinking, I want to give the other sky surfers that same reaction. Like, bust that thing out. Yeah. And, honestly, when we did bring it out, it was in Titusville or Sebastian. It was in Sebastian. And probably one of the highlights for me ever with the sport was we landed. We had, we turned our tapes in. Now we go to watch them, in the tent. Our jump comes on, and Patrick was always videoing. He always had his big video camera, and he was videoing the screens of everybody's performances. And so when ours came on, I just watched Patrick. I was just watching him. And the reaction when the hen house surprise at the very end of the jump, I saw his jaw drop. I saw his mouth go open, and he pulled the camera down from his eye and just looked at the screen. And then he looked, and then he looked over, he saw me, and he just gave me this nod. And that was such a big moment. I mean, that was huge. That was just the neatest thing.
Oh, it had to be.
Yeah. So the hen house surprise, I lucked out that I discovered it before someone else did. It's not a hard move. I don't know. Some people think it's really hard. I think it's pretty easy. I don't know about you. I found it to be actually kind of easy. You just kind of had to discover it.
Wow.
But
But there was a few takes on it afterwards, right? So when you first did it, the board was at like a 45-degree angle, and then there was people doing it flat, and then Sean was doing it with one finger like pointing towards the ground, and then people were doing it with no hands on the board, just locking it back in, and everyone did their own take on the hen house, and it was such a beautiful move, especially like on the horizon, and like you say, with the pinpoint, you look at the spot on the ground, the board, the outside of the board is absolutely buzzing round, and the center point never moves, and you could when it was perfect, it was beautiful. It was
beautiful.
I still, because I've only ever ridden a fucking board in the Vegas wind tunnel, for Christ's sakes. I've only ever watched it from the outside filming, and I never could understand how in the fuck you guys wouldn't land and throw up all over the place, because the amount of spinning that you would do, how the hell you could even land a parachute after spinning yourselves like that was beyond me.
Well, yeah, you definitely were. You weren't really the safest canopy pilot for about the first 45 seconds after opening. You just had to hope no one was near you, because you were definitely regaining your composure.
Yeah, I bet. I mean, I think that was probably the one thing that stood out the most about sky surfing over any other of the disciplines in skydiving was that it was so just vicious at times with the moves that you mean that's the only way I could put it, and that was why I had always kind of thought that when I saw Sean do the Invisible Man, that kind of was the nail in the coffin, is that it was just getting so over the top that there were only two ways to go, either the finesse of someone like Tanya or to go even more extreme than Sean, and there's just not that many people out there that can do either.
Well, I don't think anybody spun faster than Sean. I don't know. I remember when Sean was doing that, it was like he took it to such a breakneck speed that he was like in pain and had therapists after every jump and
didn't he? He was duct taping his arms to not blow out his blood vessels, for fuck's sake.
We were sat on the casa and like on that gridiron plate, which is super uncomfortable, jump after jump after jump. I think it was in Space Center, Titusville, and we'd been down Walgreens to get the stretchy bandage. And like $6,000 on the way up, Mike would roll his sleeves up, and I'd start just gently craping his arms up to the elbows, because he'd had like bloodshot eyes. His hands were swelling up. He said, I'm finding it difficult to throw my pilot chute because my fingers are swelling up. And I'm like, well, I'd already worked in the Air Force on G trousers and high altitude pressure suits. So for me, I'm like, well, if we can stop the blood pooling in your hands, then we can eliminate that problem, right? And the way we do that is by they inflate the trousers to keep the legs from filling with blood, so you don't black out. I said, well, we'll do the same with your arms. He's like, okay.
Jesus,
Mike would just do anything. I was like, yeah, okay. So that's what we did.
That's a fucking step too far for me, as far as I'm concerned. When you got to go to those.
Everyone else is looking at you on the plane, going, what the hell are the Brits doing? It's like, I'm just wrapping his arms in bandages,
so I
guys.
can pull.
Nothing going on here.
Fucking hell.
It really did get weird.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, but in such an amazing way. I mean, it really was just to be able to look back on it, and even for me to have had such a small part, and then to be able to share in all the stories with everybody that really got hardcore into it.
There was a guy called Charles Boone who used to film Tanya before Tanya and Craig were flying together. I think they were called Cha-Cha and the Gringo. And he used to put a foam, like, it looked like a face, or the face off of a bust. And it would made of foam, and he would put it in his jumpsuit to give him an aerodynamic that he could fly with Tanya, because there were certain things she was doing was too fast for him and he couldn't free fly. So he would put this kind of wedge, pointy thing in the jumpsuit to make him faster for some of the moves she was doing when she was inverted. And I'm sat on the plane going, what's that guy stuffing down his jumpsuit? It looks like a wok. It's like there was some innovation going on from all corners.
Well, I remember when I saw Zipser starting to fly camera and I forget who he was flying with, but a Skysurfer, and I'm like, oh, well, now I'm fucked, because if Olaf Zipser is going to be the next iteration of a camera flyer for Skysurfing, I'm done.
Dude, I remember at Paris when we watched the rounds, and we were in the tryouts, and obviously Troy and Vic are already smashing it, so we're just trying to get into the competition, and you can look at the rounds and judge the angles and the speed, and you're like, yeah, that's cool. And Olaf went out with Charles Bryan, and I didn't have a clue whether he was up, down, who was spinning, who was flipping. It was everywhere. It was like there were two guys in the same airspace just going off doing their own thing, and one happened to be looking at the other one.
Yeah.
And, and yet they scored really well, because I think the judges just sat there and looked at each other and went, I have no clue what
I don't know what to do with that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So,
all of it, I mean, it's between it was such an amazing time anyway, because it was Skysurfing, it was free flying, it was everything coming out at once. This is the same time the Chronicles videos are coming out, so skydiving's just got this kind of badass bad boy edge to it, and there's guys in hot tubs with hot chicks and fucking jumping off of cliffs and stuff. So what a great time to be in skydiving, right?
Plus we had the free flyers. We had the free flyers along on the Pro Tours as well. So we had the Fly Boys, Eli Fritz, Knut Cracker, Mike Ortiz, these guys, and they got like furry hats and stuff, and they're in suede or whatever jumpsuits and running around each other, and dude, those guys were an absolute
incredible
blast.
Stuff. And from that to again hitting the mainstream stuff, which I still credit you with so much of bringing skydiving into the mainstream consciousness, with the fucking long list of the crazy shit that you did. So speaking of, how do people find all those old videos? How do people get to see all the shit that we've been talking about if they weren't there to see it? How do they find the Goose video? How do they find out more about Troy Hartman?
Well, I have been uploading some videos. I'm trying to find so many more of them that I just can't get. I've been bugging MTV to see if they'll give me some of the old videos. It's weird. I can't get them, but I do on YouTube. I do have a channel. Just type in Troy Hartman. You're going to find my channel, and there's a lot of great videos I uploaded on there. You can find most of the really good ones are on there.
Awesome.
My website's just an archaic piece of junk. Don't need to go there. Just go to YouTube and you'll be all set.
Fair enough. Now, for somebody that's listened to this, or they've been watching people sky surfing and stuff, and they've decided, hey, I want to give it a shot. Obviously, we're not recommending at 20 jumps building a board and going to Lodi, but how would you recommend someone, first off, when in their career should they start? How many jumps? And how would you recommend a progression for somebody that wants to give it a whirl?
You know, I don't know. I think it's 200 jumps now, Andrew. People are recommending. I don't really know
I think it's 200 jumps. Let's be fair. You can never be too experienced to get on a sky surfboard. That's it.
It's true.
It's
true. So
once your feet are strapped in, you're stuck. That's it. So
you're stuck. I think the main thing that I've told a lot of people with the sky surfing, you go out with the small board, the sideways board, you get used to that, but you can only go so far with that before you have to really get on the forward-facing stance. And I've told a lot of people, just spend time getting off the board, from standing and being get on your back or hang ups, whatever. Spend time learning how to recover before you just spend a bunch of time trying to learn tricks. Guys say, well, I want to go out and I want to learn all these back flips, front flips, this and that. I say, man, just go out, get on your back and try to get back up and do that. Just keep doing that until you're confident you can get back up on the board from anything. Once you know that you can do that, now you can start doing anything because you're not worried about, am I going to lose control?
Sure.
That's the key. That's my main piece of advice I tell most people.
Nice.
If you're comfortable when you're out of control, then everything else becomes easy, huh?
Yeah.
That's right. Because you're going to be out of control a lot.
That's the same on the wingsuit too, right? It's don't get a bigger wingsuit until you've chucked yourself around on that one, on your head, on your back, and everything. Because once you go too big, it's a bit too late.
Now, you said you were kind of itching to be back in the scene. Is there any jumping stuff in the works on the way? Are you thinking you're going to actually try and get back out and get back into it, or is it just kind of a?
I know I will. It's just I'm trying to figure out at what age, with my kids, that I'm going to feel comfortable really. And Sarah too. She wants to get back into it. We're just like, hey, there's going to be a time when the kids are going to be like, hey, why don't you go do that?
Sure.
And I'm excited. I'm really excited to get back into it. But the time will come. It'll seem right.
Sure.
I don't really know when. Yeah.
Well, fair enough. I mean, obviously family takes precedence, and who knows, you might end up with a couple of younger skydivers wanting to go out with you. So you never know.
Fun. I mean, I'd be into it.
Awesome.
Yeah, it'd be.
Troy, I tell you what, I cannot thank you enough for taking the time, man. I've wanted to get you on and talk to you for quite some time, and it's a fucking thrill to finally get to talk to you. I've been watching the shit that you've done all along since the beginning of my career, and finding out that you're just as crazy as I thought you'd be is fucking perfect. And 40 as well, to get you guys in. Again, both of you guys were instrumental in so much of skydiving in the mainstream world, and for those of us that were just getting into jumping, you were such a driving force behind getting people to want to keep jumping that, man, between the interview and everything you've done, I just can't thank you enough.
Oh, well, thank you. I noticed we almost went 2 hours, so it must have been pretty good stuff.
Absolutely, man.
If anybody makes it through 2 hours, that'd be awesome.
Well, I'll end up doing the same thing I think I did with Joe's. I chopped his into 2 episodes because there's just too much fucking cool shit to listen to.
Yeah. No, I had a great time talking with you guys. It's a trip down memory lane. I don't always talk about it. So it's always fun.
Perfect.
Really enjoyable.
Perfect, man. Well, I'll tell you what, again, thank you so much. You have a great afternoon. Say hello to the family for me, and I hope to hear stories of you back in the sky real soon.
All right, man. See ya.
Take care. All right. Once again, there's another edition of Lunatic Fringe Into the Void in the Can, brought to you by pussfoot.com, the Extreme Sports Collective. Head on over to pussfoot.com. Check them out. Brought to you by Summit Parachute Systems, Jarrett Martin, kick-ass rigging courses, amazing pilot rigs. Brought to you, well, by the one and only NZ Aerosports, because fuck yeah, please go check them out. And brought to you by me, The Fucking Pilot. You find me at thefuckingpilot.net or theprincesspilot.com. Both of them take you to the spot where you can get all of the podcasts as well as both the books I've written. That's the Fucking Pilot book and The Accidental Stripper, both available on digital and print. We'll see you next time.